Welcome back, student pilots, to another video. You are watching The Student Pilot. First off, I would like to thank each and every one of you for your patience. I know it has been a while since I've posted about some content regarding aviation. Well, as the title says, today we'll be talking about how you can prepare and pass for your PPL written exam. So if you don't know where to start, I will be going through each of the materials that I used when it came to do my written exam just this past summer, and how I find that there were some pros as well as cons that came with each of these materials. So with that being said, let's dive into this video. Alright, so what is your PPAER, otherwise known as a private pilot airplane? Well, first of all, this is the final exam before you get your license. This exam is a multiple choice knowledge examination.
So this exam actually consists of 100 questions, you have 3 hours, and the pass mark is 60%, and that is getting 60% in each section and overall. The mandatory subjects would be air law, navigation, meteorology, and general knowledge. If you're redoing the exam, say you partialed, you failed 1 or 2 sections, then each section will have a different number of questions, different time limit, but your pass mark must still be 60%. A partial is if you fail 1 or 2 sections, full failure is if you failed 3 or the entire exam. Now this document is pretty helpful. It actually outlines the concepts as well as definitions that will definitely be on the exam. So if you want to make sure that you're on the right track with your learning, you can definitely follow along in this list and check off if you know everything as you are studying. I have also pulled up the Transfer Canada website. This website once again outlines the concepts that would be on the exam, as well as the fact that there's a recommended study material that is linked in this website. Now the examination prerequisites really is having a valid medical, having a piece of identification like your driver's or your passport, having some sort of experience, so that might be, I believe, about 10 hours of flying, and a recommendation letter from your flight instructor. Now if you are rewriting an exam because you partialed, in the case of a first failure, you need to have 14 days before writing it again. Second failure, you need 30 days, and in case of a third failure, it's 30 days plus an additional 30 days for each failure in the excess of 2.
So the first book that I recommend is the Sharper Edge textbook or practice guidebook. You might already have this on your rotation of things to use for studying, whether it was provided to you from your ground school or you just bought it yourself. This really is the quintessential book when it comes to studying each of those 4 sections, specifically general knowledge, aviation law, navigation, and meteorology. So this book is really helpful as well. Each of the sections have a test bank of almost 100 questions that really test the application of your knowledge. There is an answer key as well. Each of the question does have sometimes like where you should go back into that section to refer to a chapter or a section to study again. So I really like the Sharper Edge textbook because it instills the basics, the foundation for you. The cons of this book mainly is that you can delusion yourself into thinking that those test bank questions are on the actual exam. So have the Sharper Edge textbook to understand the foundation of each of the content that you need to know, but don't memorize it because you will be setting yourself up for failure. Alright, so the second material that I do recommend is Hangar. Hangar is an online ground school, and I found it very useful when it came to reviewing for every single topic within each of the sections. Right now it's on sale for $249 or basically 250 Canadian, and it has over 50 videos and over 850 questions, and they have mock private exams, and they also issue you a TC recommend letter if you are looking for an online ground school and you do need that recommend letter before you go in to write your exam. So I recommend Hangar. It's super engaging. They had tons of videos and tons of practice questions, as well as the mock exams for each section and a whole mock exam, right? So it was really helpful. Now the con about Hangar was that it was really time consuming. Like, I thought I was ready to get my recommend letter and they would personally email me and tell me that I needed to rewatch like 10 videos. Maybe this is a thing for all ground schools, but they will reach out to you and tell you like, hey, you need to redo this quiz a couple more times, or you need to review these videos a couple more times, it seems like you didn't grasp the concept that was presented. And I guess it's only fair because these people don't know you, so they need to know that you can do it, right? So I do definitely recommend Hangar if you're looking for an engaging and thorough ground school, but don't forget Sharper Edge is really helpful when it came to instilling the basics and the foundations of everything you need to know for the exam. So in preparation for this exam, I also wanted more practice, and so I used two things. One was Wise Pilot, which you might have already heard of, and another one was Nsys. So let's start with Wise Pilot. Wise Pilot offers both a ground school, but they also offer, separate from the ground school, question banks. The question banks actually right now are only $14.95. When I took it, it was on sale and it was about $14, so I don't really know what that was about, but as I'm looking at the site right now, I can see that there is a question bank for each of the sections, and you can also have free lessons so you can study while you're doing these question banks. Like if you don't know why you're not understanding the questions they're asking, they give you lessons. It's like a mini ground school, but you don't get a recommend letter. It's perfect for people who don't want to take a $250 course and they just want more question banks and mini lessons. Wise Pilot, extremely affordable and extremely helpful. I use this specifically better understanding my general knowledge section. Now the cons about Wise Pilot is that there is no TC recommendation letter, but if you're not looking for that, there's nothing else wrong with this course. I recommend that you supplement your learning with Wise Pilot. Now moving on to Nsys. Nsys is once again both offering ground school and offering question banks. The reason why I recommend Nsys is because the questions that I did on Nsys, I felt like I didn't see that content in Sharper Edge. I didn't see it on Hangar. So when I opened up these question banks, I was really bamboozled, to say the least. Like some of these questions I knew were coming straight out of cars, and yet like Hangar or Sharper Edge didn't cover it, you know, so it was really helpful to have exposure to these questions. So I have the site pulled up here once again. Now they are offering a subscription for 1 month being $29 and 3 months being $39 and so forth. So I did the $29 plan. I didn't need more than 1 month. I just wanted to see what Nsys was offering, and I just kind of hammered down all those questions like quickly in like a month. It wasn't like a big deal. Now if you're studying for a long time or you are, of course, like taking breaks between your study periods, maybe the 3 month or the 9 month plan is more ideal for you. So yeah, I think Nsys is really helpful. I don't think you should be once again memorizing any of these questions. Wise Pilot is a different story though. If you want to try memorizing those or really try to commit those to memory, I would recommend that. Nsys, on the other hand, I think it's better you understand where that information is coming from. So Nsys and Wise Pilot, highly recommend. If you can supplement your learning with something, use these resources. And finally, I recommend From the Ground Up as one of your materials to prepare for the exam. I found that From the Ground Up virtually had every single answer that I was looking for. If I didn't know something, I could clarify it through this book. If you watch this far into the video, I'm going to give you a little Easter egg. Read the human factors section of From the Ground Up. You could study word for word from this textbook, but the con about this piece of material is that you will fall asleep. Unless you're like gung-ho on aviation, you're falling asleep. So that's all I gotta say. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining me on this video. I really hope that I've helped you clarify what materials you need to study for your written exam. With that being said, guys, study with intent. Take your time, don't rush, and please don't walk into the exam with gaps of knowledge. I just want you guys to succeed and not have to think about this exam again. Just hold on to the material and move on. So all the best studying, you got this, and I hope to see you in the next video, student pilots. So see you next time. Bye!